you talked about Frank Reddington there, who I know you're a big fan of, and I think Frank Reddington had a lot of interesting ideas for his time, and one of the key ideas that he talked about is that we need to think about what makes us an actuary, but we need to also go beyond that as well and not just be an actuary. And one of the big things that, or the key things that makes us makes up the actuarial profession is our professionalism. So what do you see as, how does professionalism fit into it, and what does that look like, and what is professionalism really?
Okay, so the idea of professionalism, we started with guilds and trade association and expert. It's really an interpreter. It's about practical expertise. Yeah, you have knowledge, but knowledge is not good enough unless you have a professional to unpack the knowledge. You can study financial advisory, but it doesn't mean that you can invest unless you got a financial advisor to help you. You can have medical books, but you need a doctor to do the skills. So that's how it emerged. So at a general level, a professional is somebody who is credible and who is reliable with his skill sets, And there's something about him which is not about self-serving. It's actually serving his client and serving in some organizations or profession society. So he's a professional. That means he has a code, he has a skill set. Yeah, unlike others who are not professional. Whether he is an engineer or a doctor or a radiographer, he has that skill set. But I think for actuaries, I would like to say IFoA actuaries. There are additional two pillars. Yeah, two pillars. One of the pillar is about integrity and ethical standards. And the easiest way is to talk about it in terms of our actuaries code, which talks with 6 points. Right? It talks about integrity, competence and care, impartiality, compliance, communication, and speaking up. So there is that pillar. And I say that all the things we can learn, skill sets, we can change, but that pillar should not change. The second pillar is quite an interesting one. And we had some interesting conversations in a council, and that it will be slightly controversial. That there is an essence of an IFoA actuary, which is probably a bit different, and that is called we call it business judgment or commercial context or judgment or practical judgment. It's not about mathematics. It's not about the numbers. It is having judgment and having a commercial context. This is too good. But I think superseding that, when I reflected on Reddington's quote, the actuary who's only an actuary is not an actuary, and I think this came very much into the foreground in the last 4 to 6 months, because of COVID-19. I think you can be a professional actuary and do all the things which I said with integrity and ethics, and also do it with good judgment. But I think there is a larger purpose which I like to promote, and I think we have some skills to help in the discussion, which is about public interest, because I think that the world is confronted with a whole series of interlocking issues, which shows how perilous and precarious the world is. In terms of COVID-19, our response to it, inequality, poverty, and that is also a failure of health security, economic security. So there are a lot of public interest questions, but not for one moment would I say that we have all the answers, because we don't. But we do have a lens, which is really the long-term lens of risk management to bring to debate. I have some concerns about the way we do risk management in insurance companies and in financial institutions, because it's based on a set of assumptions of measuring risk by standard deviation of stock prices, right? Essentially, right? And whether that is a sound way to capture risk. It captures risk based on the fact that historically it's like that, but a lot of uncertainties is outside our risk model. So for that alone, the uncertainty requires to measure or think about risk very differently. It's not just the model telling us that it is safe, because the model can't tell you it's safe because the model has model risk, and there are many risks which sits outside the model because of the herding of all the models. All the models are measuring the same thing. So pro-cyclicality came in. There are covenant risks in pension schemes. Northern Rock has the same issue, right? Northern Rock was deemed to be AAA 2 weeks before it collapsed. It was one of the soundest institutions, but they did not measure the liquidity of the assets, which is another source of risk at that time. So we must be able to stand back from our mathematics, because our mathematics can be very detailed. And I've sat through risk management committees with 800 to 1,200 pages of reports based on all the scenarios. But then you are over examining all those analyses without looking up. We are looking down. We should look up and see what else is there. So I think the actuary who is only an actuary is not an actuary speaks to that space as well. So we cannot be just turning the handle. Although turning the handle is an important activity, is a task of computations and making sure it's correct, we must also look up to see whether the ship is going in the right direction, or should we be traveling at all rather than just turning the handle, right? So I think we got to stand back and ask, what's going on here? What's going on here? That is a more meta thinking. And not all of us need to do that. All of us will have different roles. But I think, I speak in the context of IFoA. I think that in the past, we have been very influential from my vantage point. But I think that I would like the profession to be more influential, certainly in the affairs in UK and throughout the world. But not in an arrogant way that we have the answers, because actually the kind of issues I raise are highly complex. But we need to be at the table to participate in the discussion, because whatever comes out influences us. We cannot be just a rule taker. My sense is we have been a rule taker from the regulatory bodies in UK and elsewhere for too long.